adventure, sports, outdoors. With host Harry Canterbury.
There I was, back in the wild again, and I felt right at home where I belong. I had that feeling coming over me again, just like it happened so many times before. Yeah.
Hi, Harry Canterbury with another edition of Adventure Sports Outdoors. We're down in sunny Florida for the winter, and now we're back home. But we had a fabulous time. We've got great neighbors, and we met some fabulous people. My good friend Abel and Percilla have a hog roast every year. He came from Cuba in 1962 as a refugee. Had a heck of a time getting out, but he made America his home, and he is a patriot and loves this country. It's really a shame that Americans like us don't celebrate being an American like he does. He's very grateful to have been given the opportunity to live in this fabulous country. So we've got a nice show about Abel and his party. We also have my neighbors across the canal where we live, Bob and Melissa. Her name is Mel, is what they call her. And they're fabulous people, great fishermen. And it's an argument whether Mel is a better fisherman than Bob. You'll see what I mean. So stay tuned today for a good show.
Adventure Sports Outdoors, brought to you in part by Corsaw Lumber, manufacturers of quality hardwood products, buyers of standing timber in Smithfield. Central Pool Supply, everything from pools to pool tables and much more in Peoria on West Pioneer Parkway. Kelleher's Irish Pub and Eatery, located on Peoria's riverfront, open 11 a.m. daily. Lewis and Clark Outpost, 107 East Fast Street in Mackinac. And by Veterans Pub and Pizza, 2525 Northeast Adams Street in Peoria. Our thanks to all of these sponsors.
Good afternoon. My name is Abel Villamontes, and this is my beautiful wife, Priscilla, and we live in Northport, Florida. And what we're gonna be doing this coming Saturday is gonna be a pig roast. I'm Cuban by birth and American by the grace of God. So we're celebrate every year that I can celebrate. I celebrate my freedom in this country. I migrated to this country in 1962, April 19th to be exact, 1962, and I was 9 years old. But so every year I try to gather neighbors and friends and just trying to get them to join me in my celebration, and I call it my freedom pig, because you know, on April 19th, that's when I was freed from communism. To tell you my story, like I said, I migrated to the United States April 19th, 1962. My brother and my mother and myself, we came over here. My father, the Castro regime didn't let him out because of politics. So he came a week later because there was, which we'll get probably to more detail maybe later on that. But so we were separate. My parents, my father and my brother and my mother and I, we were separated for the very first time in our lifetime during our migration to this country. And so it was my brother, my mother and I that came on April 19th, and my father was released a week later, or he could leave a week later. And that was on his birthday, April 25th.
Now, what do you remember? You were about 9 years old when you left?
Yes, sir.
And, you know, that's a long time ago, 1962.
Yeah, but that stays in your...
You never forget it.
Oh, no.
Never forget it.
Mm-mm.
What was that day like, and where were you at, and what happened?
Wow. I think it was probably about the roughest day of my life. where you have to figure, a 9-year-old child being torn apart from everything he knew, coming to a different country, different world, that didn't speak the language. I had no idea the customs. And so we came up over here, but yeah, being 9 years old at that time, we adjusted pretty quick, my brother and I. But, excuse me. The real, my heroes in my life was my parents. My mother, she was born in 1915, and we came in 62. She was 47 or 37, whatever the, she was 47. And my father was, I think 4 years younger than she was. And you imagine your families at this age, where you're 47 and whatever my father was, 4 years earlier. Anyway, yeah, 43. But anyway, moving to a country, again, that you didn't speak the language, you didn't know the customs, and we were coming over here just with our clothes in our bags. There was no suitcases involved. There was we had no money, and thank God for the Red Cross and the Catholic charities that they gave us they gave my parents. That's another thing. I said my father came a week later. We had to stay in Miami an extra week till my father, or whatever time it needed to be, till my father got here. But anyway, like I was saying, it's the Red Cross gave us a Spanish-English dictionary. They gave my parents $100. I believe it was $100 each one of them. And I remember the bar of that processed cheese that you get, like a Velveeta cheese, a big bar. And basically a big jar of peanut butter that they give to migrants here. So, but anyway, that was that day, will ever be and burning in my memory. And my parents, like I said, they were the real heroes that risked everything that they had over there to bring us away from communism and for a better life. My parents, before the Castro revolution, before the regime, we were, like I said, a nice middle-class family in Cuba. My dad had a body shop that he employed probably about, maybe 10, 15 people, I can't remember. But he had, we always had families and friends over at the house for dinner, and especially around Christmas time, the Cubans, we do a lot of pigs. And I was born like 3 days before Christmas Eve. I was born on the 21st. And so they always did a pig for my birthday. And usually the celebration went on through Christmas Eve, because we do most of our celebration during Christmas Eve. As far as that I can remember back from Cuba, our exchanging gifts, or when we didn't have this at that time that I can remember, we didn't have Santa Claus. We had the three wise men came and delivered the gifts. So it was they called it here the Three Kings Parade. So it's in January 6th. So that's when we basically got our gifts and so on and so forth. But it was a happy time during that time in Cuba. Everything was abundant. We had, like I say, all the food. everything that you want to buy, like you have here in the United States nowadays. You can go to what we call the bodega, which was like the local convenience store of that time, if you will, in the 1950s. And you could just buy anything you wanted there. And so like I said, my dad, my mother, on the other hand, she did not work. She stayed home, with my brother and I. And she had a couple of nannies that took care of us and so on. So I said we weren't wealthy by any stretch of the imagination, but we were well off. My father and my mother were always hardworking people. As a matter of fact, my mother, she worked for a while at the Cancer League or Cancer Society over there in Camagüey. I'm from Camagüey, by the way, which is a town almost like in the middle, in the south center of the island of Cuba. And that's where I'm from. So we're not from Havana or from any big city. I mean, Camagüey is a big town at that time, but it was not a big city by any stretch of the imagination. And but anyway, so my parents, my mother, she volunteered and she worked. She worked at the Cancer Society or Cancer League. They used to call it the Liga contra el Cáncer in Cuba, and we had very happy times. I used to. I started going to school when I was a little, about 2 years old, 3 years old. And in my briefcase, I used to pack, like diapers, so the teachers could change my diaper, but I wanted to go to school with my brother, which is a year and a half older than I was. But anyway, life was good. It was plentiful. Like I say, everything that we needed, we had: food, good friends. And then all of a sudden, in 1959, everything changed. I'm not saying that the people that were in charge, the Batista government, they were perfect or anything of the sort, but at least it wasn't communism. You have a lot of people that have suffered through this regime, and one thing that I want to bring also to your attention is like. Why do you think? I mean, you can go back in the history here in the United States. Let's go back to the 60s, 1964, 1965, and throw on through the 80s, and even still nowadays. When you have desperate people that live Cuba in a tube just to get away from that. I mean, how desperate do you have to be to do that? Like I said, I could probably go to Cuba because I left when I was very young. I was, like I said, I was 9 years old. I could probably go to Cuba with a visa or whatever. But I refused to give the Cuban government the American dollar. And I will not, and I tell my friends, people want to go to Cuba, I understand that, I understand, but people say, well, I can give take care of the people in Cuba. You're not taking care of the people as far as in the small towns or whatever, people the regular people, you're not taking, they're not getting any part of that. If you give them a $20 bill tip, they're gonna turn that in. If not, they will be turned in. I would never go back there, not as long as it's communist. And me, like I said, I came when I was 9 years old. I'm an American that was born in Cuba, but I'm an American citizen. I served here in the military in 1970s. I volunteered. My draft number when I signed up, it was 341. They never would have called me. But I volunteered in the Navy, and because it's the least I can do. It was during the Vietnam era. I volunteered for Vietnam. Good afternoon. This is Abel Montes, and we're going to be doing a pig roast tomorrow. in my anniversary in this country. It's gonna be 56 years that I arrived in this country, so we call this my freedom pig. So celebrate my freedom in this country. So we went down to Miami and got this pig. It was 146 pounds on hoof, and we just got back a little while ago. Abel, my beautiful wife Percilla. I want to thank you all. I want to thank you all for coming over today and help me celebrate my 56th anniversary in this country. Wow. And for most of you, this is your second, third, fourth pig, or fifth pig. For some of you, it's the first, and hopefully it won't be your last.
Yes.
But anyway, that's a reason for the pig. 56 years ago, I migrated to this country, and so I celebrate my freedom. Hence the pig. So, we gotta sacrifice the pig, so hey, But anyway, I want to thank you all, and one more little thing I would appreciate. A lot of people have asked me, they want to donate for. I do this for myself. You don't know me a penny. You're more than welcome. The only thing I ask, if you want to donate anything to the DAV, we got a.
That is not disabled.
Abel Viamonte. No, it's not disabled Abel Viamonte. It's disabled American veterans.
Okay.
Anyway, there you go. So we out there.
Hi, I'm Dave Barth with your Sportsman's Tip of the Week. With ammo prices getting higher and higher almost on a daily basis, you might want to consider reloading, especially rifle and pistol shells. It doesn't take that much of an investment and that much equipment to get started. You need a reloading press, you need a powder scale, a powder measure, and dies. A nice accessory to have is a case tumbler. Of course, you need media for the tumbler. It's not a necessity that you have to have something like this, but it just cleans your brass and you get a good looking cartridge when you're done. Now, if you want to save some money, you can buy all of this equipment in a kit, and it's everything you need to start reloading except a set of dies. Once you have your basic equipment, you can change calibers for between $30 and $40 by buying a set of dies for each particular caliber. Once you have your equipment, you need your components. Primers, you can buy by the thousand. Powder comes in single pound lots or in kegs. You need bullets of some type. Lead bullets like this are a real cost savings. When you shoot lead, like out of a 45 long Colt, for example, factory ammunition is $30 to $40. You can load a box of shells for $10. If you want to load rifle ammunition, you can buy bullets by the 100, and you'll load for about half of what they sell for new. And of course, you need brass. I'm Dave Barth with your Sportsman's Tip of the Week.
We've moved twice since we've been to Florida, but we think we are in a super neighborhood, great neighbors, and a lot of them from right here in central Illinois. Bob and Mel across the canal have been there a long time. They've been married, I think, 29 years, and have fished the Myakka River, which was right out my back door for many, many years. They know where the snook are at, the redfish, the sail cats, the tarpon, and I'm looking forward to going back down to this summer because the summer is actually better fishing than it is in the wintertime.
Hi, my name is Bobbie Landon. I'm here with my lovely wife, Mel Landon, and we're living across the canal from Harry and Kathy, and it's a great place to live. We've been here for 25 years in this house and on the river. Before that, we were located around Boca Grande area. Been here pretty much all my life, and retired captain, charter boat captain, and fished all around the world for large black marlin and giant bluefins, and just kind of settled into the Florida area. Just love the place. It's not too built up on the west coast of Florida yet, and just a great place to be from, and a lot of great fishing. We have tarpon here, and trout, and snook, and redfish, and just, you know, you get the sawfish here, very few of them, but occasionally you see sawfish, and we have a lot of duck hunting here, actually. You've got Lake Okeechobee, which is approximately 90 miles from here, which is filled with wild birds, and here on the river we got a lot of bluebills and some mottled ducks. Every once in a while you get redheads and some teal, and it's a lot of fun just to get out on the river and hunt, and you can actually hunt and fish at the same time. And my wife, Mel, is an artist, and she's from Australia. Met her in Australia, black marlin fishing, and she's the love of my life besides fishing.
Because I like to fish a lot, I do a lot of nautical paintings and beach scenes. Open windows, open doors are a specialty. And I just like to appreciate the nature around us here, and so that is inspiration for a lot of the paintings, a lot of local area beach scenes and river scenes, fishing and fish camp scenes.
You saw a osprey with its babies about a block from here, and you were with a photographer that took some pictures, weren't you? It was pretty neat.
It is. They were feeding the two little babies. We like to go down at the river's edge and watch the osprey come out and dive down and pick up a mullet out of the water and bring it back to the nest.
We're going after some hopefully snook and redfish today. We got a little bit of weather that moved in, and real low tide this morning, so we couldn't get an early start, but now we're going and see what happens and go from there.
Well, this is my last day till I go back to Illinois.
Yeah,
so I get to go fishing on the last day. That's pretty cool.
You gotta stay longer.
Well, Mel, tell everybody where you're from if they haven't already guessed.
Originally Australia, 29 years ago.
29 years ago.
Born and raised.
And I was talking to Bobbie the other day. He said when he first met you, you had quite a heavier accent. It's kind of mellowed out over the years.
Yeah, it comes back when I talk to my cousins.
Oh, it does?
Yes.
They think you sound like an American or a Yankee, huh?
I'm a bit muddled now.
You're always muddled.
I'm the muddle-headed wombat.
Wombat, okay.
Melissa Muddle Landon.
All righty. Well, hey, I'm ready to do her.
Let's go fishing.
Okay.
Hi guys. What we're using today is a Zara Spook. It's a topwater plug, and you just make it what they call walking the dog. And these fish will come up most of the time and slam it out of the water and then come back and get it again. You use them right around an 8-foot Crowder rod with 8-pound test and a 20-pound test leader. We're not real hardy fishermen. We're not trying to set records. We're just having fun. We'll see what happens. Try to be quiet as we can. Snook are a really tough fish to catch. They're smart. They know their gill plates are like razor blades. They can spread their gills up when you catch them, and it'll cut you in two just like nothing flat, no matter what size leader you use it. They have no teeth, but they know all about the mangroves. Actually, they love the mangroves. That's where they go and sit in between the mangroves, and they're predatory fish. So they ambush it as the bait's going by. The stronger the tide generally is, the better the fish, and you got to have it tight for him, seems like. But we're going to see what happens.
Mel, you evidently enjoy this fishing as much as he does, or more.
I do. Well, we get competitive.
You do?
We do.
That's kind of nice.
So that makes it fun.
Yeah, that's fun, a lot of fun.
But it's one of our favorite pastimes. We enjoy being out on the water and enjoy the wildlife and the scenery and the fish.
Oh, yeah.
And it makes a good meal sometimes.
Well, I know.
On occasion.
You guys gave me some here a couple of weeks ago, and it was really good.
It's good, isn't it, on the grill?
Oh, God, and brawn
Just
butter.
broiled, yeah. Being a bunch of jacks in the canal, Harry.
You get as close to the mangroves as you can, and you just tip the lure back and forth and do what they call walking the dog. Generally, when you find a little opening like that, little indentation in the mangroves, it's a lot of times the snook will be
where they're
sitting
at.
there. Can't believe you didn't get a strike right there, Mel.
That fella's gone now from that other spot.
Yeah, well,
He's probably already fished it out.
Good the other spot. Good thing about Zara Spooky, you can cover a lot of ground. I'll be there in a second. We're very competitive. If I miss a fish, she's after it.
Is that our little mirror lure out there?
No, that's not our little mirror lure.
That Harry?
I share nothing. That's my mirror lure up there.
I think I had something follow me. It's gone. Didn't see it.
Oh, there it goes. Big and black.
Oh.
Good little Bobbie. Oh, come on, let me let you loose. Go on, get off. Whoa,
We're chasing the stingray.
And there we got a bunch of rays right here.
Look at that. Big stingray.
He's just a small one.
Just a little baby.
They're still fun to catch.
Yes, they are.
Still fun to eat.
Now he knows not to do that again. Here you go.
As you bring it around this side. No, the other way. Hey, we won't even use a net on this guy. He's not big enough to
keep. Not in the slot. What is a slot, by the way?
Oh,
28 to 32.
28 to 32.
32.
See the
Show how pretty they are. That
right
beautiful
there?
black stripe on them.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
As I said, his gills are just razor blade sharp.
Oh, yeah. Right. Nice fish to catch, though. They fight.
Oh, yeah. Even for a small little guy, he fought.
Don't hurt him.
Yeah.
Got one undone, got it on another one. And there he goes. Just swim right off.
Adventure Sports Outdoors, brought to you in part by Corsaw Lumber, manufacturers of quality hardwood products, buyers of standing timber in Smithfield, Central Pool Supply, everything from pools to pool tables and much more in Peoria on West Pioneer Parkway. Kelleher's Irish Pub and Eatery, located on Peoria's riverfront, open 11 a.m. daily.
Lewis and Clark Outpost, 107 East Fast Street in Mackinac. And by Veterans Pub and Pizza, 2525 Northeast Adams Street in Peoria. Our thanks to all of these sponsors.
Thanks for watching the show, and thanks to Abel and Percilla. Great Americans. They love this country, some real true patriots. And Bob and Mel, my neighbors. I can't wait to get back down and go fishing with you. Next month, we're going to Arkansas and fish for striped bass. I hear they're biting, and I'm looking forward to the trip. So we'll see you next month.
Saving nickels, saving dimes, working till the sun don't shine.